So I want to talk to you real quick about some of the do's and don'ts of new gacha games. I understand that this new developer team is not the same developer team as all of your other COM2US games, but I've had very bad experiences with other developer teams on this game, and I want to help you guys out because the game is doing so well. I want it to continue to do well, and I have do's and don'ts for that to happen. So who am I? Why am I even telling you this? Basically, played Summoners War 6 years, found my wife on it, big fucking, love the game, whatever. Skylanders, been a big Skylanders fan for 10 years, you ruined it. Biffed the game, didn't know anything about Skylanders, ruined the integrity of the game. That's the two severities on the scale. You either do very good and the game is amazing, or you do very bad and your game dies. And I love this game, I want it to go on. So please allow me to express to you some of the do's and don'ts of being a developer team on these gacha games, and what we as players would like to see and what we would like not to see. Number 1, do. Please buff weak units. It's very easy to introduce a lot of new units, just have 1,000,000 units in the game. Sometimes it's okay just to take a weak unit that people don't really use that much and make them stronger. It changes the meta of the game, it gives people more options, and it's just generally a lot of fun, especially for people that went out of their way to build a unit that wasn't popular because they liked how they look, and it's a very pleasant surprise for them whenever they get a buff, so please buff weak units. Also, make cooler skins. Now, we all like the waifu skins. We love our waifus, the little sexy skins, sexy maid, little beach skin. We get to see the legs. It's great. But now this skin, the Murphy skin, is absolute god mode. Please do more skins like this. This game is based in a post-apocalyptic, futuristic, zombie apocalypse thing, right? Can you imagine how cool that would be? Like, nothing against the beach skin lovers, but where the fuck do you get beach from that? Zombie, futuristic, post-apocalyptic zombie will fucking put flip-flops on her and give her a goddamn inner tube. Makes no sense. Definitely cool skins. You could do some cool stuff. I'll give you one. Take Tala, instead of having, the wolf pelt, give her like a mammoth pelt and have her have tusks that extend out like 6 feet, and make her spear made out of ivory. It'll be fucking awesome. Do that. Trust me, work on cool skins. Allow custom account portraits. Summoners War does this. It adds a lot of, familiarity to your account. It makes it feel customized, makes it feel like it's actually yours. Now, right now, we're just looking at a bunch of, the same icons, little 2D JPEG images of chibi versions of characters in your game with maybe 2 borders that we have to choose from. It's pretty boring. It would be nice to be able to select our own icon. You can very easily have a report button for the ones that are inappropriate, and it would be not hard to integrate into the game, especially since you already have it integrated into Summoners War, and you can just link it to your hive. Testing your arena defenses. Now we're going to get into the arena for a little bit because I have a few of them for the arena, because PvP is a very big part of gacha games. It's what makes them live on, is the competitive drive that players have to be the best. Being able to test your own defense is going to be a great way to be able to see what your weaknesses and strengths are in the arena. For example, one of my guildmates has a Trevor. Trevor's an amazing unit. Set him all the way to the back. It took him 4 cycles of turns to even get in range to attack somebody, and he had no idea until someone on our guild ended up accidentally fighting his defense and telling him. And if we didn't do that, he would have actually never known, and we would still be doing that to this day. So being able to test our own arena defenses is going to be a great step towards us optimizing our skills as players. Now next, as a caveat to that, seeing the guild that a player has in the arena. A lot of us top-end guilds have a rule that we are not allowed to attack other people within our guild, and then people are constantly leaving the guild, getting G quit, G kicked. We get new people, and every single time you see a name you think you recognize, you have to exit out of the arena screen, go into the guild screen, see if they're still in your guild or not, and then go back to attack them. It's a lot of extra steps and completely unnecessary that could be entirely cut out just by having the little guild name above the character. Next is, I think this game would be very good to integrate this type of feature, would be a 3v3 arena type. Now, a lot of other PvP games, it's like strictly 4v4, strictly 5v5 arena. This game, especially whenever you go into the parties, you see maps like the straight bridge map and the square bridge map that are very interesting for 3v3 battle types. It would introduce new meta units into the game. People would be able to branch off and pick new units to try to excel on those maps. It would be a great way to add a little bit of freshness to PvP. Next would be making an alternate way to get Trevor and Eve. I don't think it's really fair that characters that could potentially be somebody's favorite character are locked behind a paywall, because not everybody has a job. There are kids in high school, there are people struggling in college, people that have low-paying jobs, etc., etc. that cannot afford these characters, especially $52 for 2 characters, is a little bit steep. Now, for those that don't know, COM2US' primary shareholder, being Tencent, is a $1 trillion company. They absolutely are not going to go bankrupt if they take the feature out to pay for these characters. They could put in a way to obtain them, like for 10,000 diamonds. If you would rather purchase Eve and Trevor with $10,000 diamonds, not $10,000, goddamn, versus $26, go ahead and say that you would rather do that in the comment, because I know I would, and I think that would be an entirely fair trade. And if you're having trouble finding a way to implement some of these changes, or if you're just like trying to think of an excuse like, oh, there's not enough space on the HUD, there's definitely space on the HUD. If we see here, there's plenty of space on the HUD to add some of these awesome features. So those are a little bit of do's, and now we could get into a little bit of don'ts. Please do not do these things that I've seen other games do, and the games crash and burn because of simple mistakes, and a lot of it has to do with not keeping in communication with your community. If you're having trouble keeping in communication with your community and what your community would really like, please look into the old school RuneScape poll system. Old school RuneScape has a system where you go into this area where you can vote on changes. The developers put the changes in an explanation in a paragraph, and it'll be like, would you like this change? Yes or no? And players vote yes or no. Once your account has reached a certain level, you are allowed to vote, so that people cannot make multiple accounts to skew the votes or use bots to skew the votes. That way, actual valuable players are helping the developer team think of changes and implement changes into the game. If more than 75% of the player base, 3/4 of the player base, is for a change, then implement the change. That way only 25% of the player base is hurt by your decision, because it's actually the decision of the player base, and 75% of the players are happy. If more than 25% of the players say don't implement the change, then just don't implement the change. I mean, it's not going to break the game to not implement a suggestion. The people that are already playing your game, if somebody quits the game because you implemented a suggestion that they liked and the suggestion didn't pass a vote, well, then that's just selfishness on that player's fault. So that would be a very good way to implement changes and patches into the game if you're not sure what your player base wants. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some don'ts. Do not add a fucking battle pass. I swear to okay. Raid Shadow Legends, they implemented a battle pass into their game. Their ratings went from 4.8 to 3.1 in less than 3 days this happened. Now, of course, the developers of Raid Shadow Legends had a meeting with Google, and they did what TikTok does and what all these other little developers do, where they implement a bad change, and then the users tank their ratings, so they end up flagging all of the bad ratings as spam so that they could inflate their numbers again back to a good rating. But that doesn't mean that those players still aren't unhappy. A humongous amount of the player base, a huge chunk of the player base, just quit the game, said, okay, nope, not worth it, not going into that, and you already have the subscription, all right? Again, owned by Tencent, you do not have any reason to not have enough budget to add development to the game, to add patches to the game, so adding a battle pass at that point would just be greedy, and it would chase away a lot of players. On the other side of that same coin, if you're worried about making money for the game and then, your boss is actually giving you a bigger budget to add patches and developments, please add better packages to the game. So do not keep adding bad pay-to-win packages, because pay-to-win is fine. It's okay for somebody that makes a lot of money to drop some extra money to, cut out 2 days progress, cut out 3 days progress. Sure, that's absolutely okay. What's not okay is whenever place the value on these items, because what you're doing whenever you add a pack to the game, you're adding an initial value to the item, which then goes into the general online currency market, and the way you have marked these items is absolutely ridiculous. These resources are not worth this much money, so please relook into that. If you're going to add pay-to-win packages to the game, at least make them worth the money that the player is spending. Please do not nerf strong units. If there's an overused unit like Lakshmi right now, that does not mean that she needs to be nerfed. Instead of nerfing a very strong unit, it's very easy to take a unit that is supposed to counter the strong unit in their kit and then buff that unit. For example, if Lakshmi is super overpowered for damage share, and then Kayn has a burn, right? What if you made his burn an area of effect? Now that essentially makes Kayn a viable character and also counter the meta. So more people are going to build Kayn. There's going to be more people that already built Kayn that are happy with the buff, and it's just going to keep the game going, keep the game fresh, keep the game interesting. Now, whenever you nerf strong units, what you're doing is you're telling the player that built that unit to go fuck themselves, because we take all of our time. It takes a long time to build a unit to 50, takes a lot of resources to put a unit to 50, upgrading all their equipment, getting their legendary exclusive equipment. So if you nerf a character that we did all those things for, and you make our character less viable, that's a huge slap in the face to the people that built those characters. They did this in Skylanders, where they would just take really, really good characters, nerf them into dog shit, and then people that built those characters were absolutely fuming, and a lot of them just quit the game. So if you're going to nerf strong units, make sure that what you're nerfing is actually a viable nerf, and you're not just nerfing something because it would be easier to nerf it than it would be to buff something else. Buffing other things is going to make the game more fun than nerfing. Please do not make essential items sellable. What I mean by this is like the steel, the adamant, and all that stuff, the modules. A lot of players don't understand what these items do, or they haven't found the niche where they needed to use it yet. But there's going to be a point in the game where everybody needs all of their resources, and being able to sell all of your resources, like in Skylanders, you're even able to sell your character pieces. So you could have a fully built character and you could just essentially sell them down to nothing. You're able to soft lock an account, basically, is what I did. I took one of my in-game accounts and I soft locked it in less than 3 minutes. So please do not make essential items sellable. If we wanted to sell an item and then we ended up selling it and then ended up needing it later, it's a huge waste of progress, makes people not want to play the game anymore. And last but not least, I don't think I need to add this because, you know, you make jokes about it with April Fools and stuff, all that. Don't add Summoner's War Violent runes. Violent is different in Summoner's War than it is in Heroes War. In Summoner's War, Violent runes give you a chance to take an extra turn, and then after that turn, they have another chance to take an extra turn. The text on it is clearly wrong. There are many videos about this. It says it's a 12% chance, then a 6, then a 3, then a 1.5. It's clearly like an 80% chance, then a 40, then a 20, then a 10, because every single battle you can see multiple violent procs, which is just absolutely ridiculous. A lot of the units in this game are strong enough that you don't need to implement violent. That would be a very messy change to implement into the game. Other than that, COM2US, I'm going to leave you alone. Heroes War development team, I want to tell you that you're doing a great job. I really appreciate you guys. I like the art they do. I love the style of the game. Like, all the work that you guys are putting into the game is really good, okay? Now, who am I? I'm just fucking YouTuber guy with less than 300 subs, right? Who cares? I am the fucking icon of people that play your game. I've played all your games religiously, like 8 hours a day. Every time I get into your game, I play it religiously. So I feel like I have a lot of valuable information that I could give you, and a lot of valuable opinions as well as you guys, viewers of mine. I know that I have a lot of loyal subscribers. For all the guys that chill, you know, I see you in comments every day. I respond to all your comments. You know who you are. Drop a change down that you think would be cool in the comment section, because COM2US does watch these videos. I could absolutely prove that if you go type in Skylanders Thunderbolt, and that was a video that COM2US personally requested me to make for them when I was only at 50 subs. So yes, they do watch this as much as they fucking hate me. Sorry about that, but yes, drop a change you would like in the comments so that they can see that too. Other than that, I'll see y'all later. Bye.